Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. Do the radical Democrats have no shame? The squad members have been on a rampage in the aftermath of the brutal Charlie Kirk assassination, which was carried out by one of their own, if I can paraphrase Jimmy Kimmel, a raging leftist, by all accounts, Tyler Robinson, who is suspected of killing Kirk, and he left behind some messages saying that he absolutely hated Charlie Kirk. And, well, the radical Democrats out there aren't making things any better for themselves because they are pushing the same kind of heated rhetoric that surrounded Charlie Kirk's assassination. And on the House floor recently, AOC went beyond the pale, and she's now being torched by a leading Democrat. You're going to want to see this. But before we get into this story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. On Friday, AOC turned heads by attacking Charlie Kirk on the House floor. There was a resolution that was being considered to honor Charlie Kirk, and the radical Democrats weren't having it. Well, let's just take a look at what AOC had to say because it's pretty reprehensible.
Instead, the majority proceeded with a resolution that brings great pain to the millions of Americans who endured segregation, Jim Crow, and the legacy of bigotry today. We should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was. A man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake, who after the violent attack on Paul Pelosi claimed that, quote, some amazing patriot, unquote, should bail out his brutal assailant, and accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it, unquote. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans, far from the working tirelessly to promote unity, unquote, asserted by the majority in this resolution. It is equally important that Congress does unite to reject the government's attempt to weaponize this moment into an all-out assault on free speech across the country, all in the name of Charlie Kirk.
AOC, let's get something straight. Your cherry-picked lines and your misrepresentation of what Charlie Kirk was trying to say and his thousands of hours of podcasting and the different rhetorical points that he was making is not helpful at all. You are simply angry at a conservative activist who is doing a lot of damage to the radicalism on our college campuses. The hothouse socialism that you subscribe to was getting impacted by Charlie Kirk and his TPUSA organization. He was pulling Gen Z, youth away from the Democratic Party through reasonable arguments, and he was exposing how hollow and deceptive radical ideology is, how it leads people to hatred, and you're exhibiting that once again. So Tyler Robinson, his cohorts at Utah Valley State, numerous college campuses who can't stand Charlie Kirk, they are not showing that they are reasonable. They don't show dignity. They don't show self-respect. And a leading Democrat in the past, somebody who was extremely influential, Joe Manchin, a former senator from West Virginia, is calling out AOC, and I think what he said is just perfectly put. Let's watch this.
She does say that we should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was, a man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake. She goes on to name some of the other things that he believes in. What was your reaction to her vote and her statement afterward?
First of all, I just saw it a little while ago, and I was stunned, Casey. I really was. This is not the place and the time for that at all. If the Democrats, if AOC and the far left, the extreme left, I'm going to say, believe that's where the party, the Democratic Party, is today, then that'll tell you why you lost people like me, and an awful lot. And let me tell you what you've lost since the last election. They've been doing their national tour. and thinking, boy, that's something. We're really getting into something. The Democratic Party has lost more than 160,000 Democrats that have basically left the party since November election. So if that's the way the Democratic Party is going, it's getting worse, not better.
Well, in my opinion, Manchin is absolutely right. They need to learn some self-respect and some dignity, show a little bit of compassion for people who disagree with them. I don't know if they're capable of that, because from what I see from them, they just make all sorts of deceptive statements like this one from AOC, doubling down on her stupid vitriol. So, yeah, we can't really help these people. They are just hateful and spiteful and deceptive. And, don't take my word for it, please. Do your own homework. Do your own research. I've seen so many accounts from people online of just going and watching Charlie Kirk speaking on college campuses, coming forth with their own testimonials about how they had Charlie Kirk wrong, how he was not this hateful, spiteful figure, let alone a fascist or a Nazi. Of course, he would reject those epithets, and there's nothing similar between Nazi and fascist ideology and American conservatism. Just go look at the platform of the National Socialists and also the Italian fascists. It is much more akin to socialism than it is to American conservatism. It's not even close, actually. We believe in life, liberty, and this pursuit of happiness. Live and let live, and leave us alone. So weigh in with your thoughts. What do you think about AOC's remarks? Is Joe Manchin right? Do we need to see more Joe Manchins in the Democratic Party? People who are reasonable and have somewhat of a moral compass, even if we don't always agree with them, of course. So weigh in with your thoughts below. We appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.